नमस्ते, मैं हर्षल देसाई आप सभी को आमंत्रित करता हूं एक काफी महत्वपूर्ण कार्यक्रम जो ई हेल्थ मैगजीन ने वियाट्रिस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के सपोर्ट से कंसेप्चुअलाइज किया है और इस कार्यक्रम का नाम है पनासिया। पनासिया एक 6 महीने का एक ऐसा कार्यक्रम है जिसमें हम पूरे भारत देश से अलग अलग एक्सपर्ट्स जो कि योगा, न्यूट्रिशन, मेंटल हेल्थ, न्यूरोलॉजी, इसके अलावा एंडोक्राइनोलॉजी, इसके अलावा और दूसरे जितने मेडिकल फील्ड्स हैं वहां से अलग अलग एक्सपर्ट्स को लेकर हम 6 महीने के लिए हर रविवार को ऑनलाइन सेशन कंडक्ट करेंगे। ये कार्यक्रम इसलिए महत्वपूर्ण है क्योंकि हम सभी जानते हैं महामारी के समय में हम सभी लोग काफी एक डर के माहौल में रह रहे हैं। हम हमेशा ये प्रयत्न कर रहे हैं कि किस तरह से हमारी रोग प्रतिरोधक क्षमता हमारे शरीर की बढ़ाई जाए ताकि इस महामारी से हम बचे रहें। इन्हीं सब चीजों को ध्यान में रखते हुए हम लोगों ने इस कार्यक्रम की संकल्पना की है और इस कार्यक्रम में पार्टिसिपेट करने पर निश्चित रूप से सभी लोगों को बहुत फायदा पहुंचने वाला है। 3 चीजें हैं महत्वपूर्ण जो मैं आप सभी को बताना चाहता हूँ। पहली चीज, ये कार्यक्रम ऑनलाइन हो रहा है जिसकी वजह से आपको अपने घरों से बाहर निकलने की जरूरत नहीं है। आप अपने घरों में बैठकर इस कार्यक्रम का लाभ उठा सकते हैं। दूसरी चीज, जो एक्सपर्ट्स, जो विशेषज्ञ हमारे इस कार्यक्रम में आने वाले हैं वो सभी काफी जाने माने और काफी फेमस प्रैक्टिशनर्स हैं, एक्सपर्ट्स हैं, रिनाउंड पर्सनालिटीज हैं जो योगा, न्यूट्रिशन, मेंटल हेल्थ, एंडोक्राइनोलॉजी, कार्डियोलॉजी, न्यूरोलॉजी, इन सभी चीजों के ऊपर लगभग 30 मिनट से लेकर 60 मिनट के इस सेशन में आपके साथ वार्तालाप करेंगे। और तीसरी चीज ये है कि इसके लिए आपको किसी भी धनराशि को देने की आवश्यकता नहीं है। ये कार्यक्रम एकदम फ्री है, आपके लिए ये कार्यक्रम एकदम फ्री है। सो मैं आप सभी को आमंत्रित करता हूँ, आप panacea.eletsonline.com इस वेबसाइट को विजिट करें। विजिट करने पर वहां पे आप रजिस्टर करें और रजिस्टर करके आप इन सारे सेशंस का जो कि 6 महीने तक चलने वाले हैं उनका लाभ उठाएं। Good morning, everyone. This is Harshal Desai, part of Philips Technomedia Private Limited. I welcome you all again in the session on yoga under the program Panacea, which has been conceptualized by eHealth Magazine and Viatris, along with other supporting partners, including Narayana Health and Nayati Hospital. We also have with us Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta, who has supported our program from the day one, and she is also our yoga instructor for the day. Welcome, Sohini ji, on the show again.
Thank you, Harshi. Very happy to be on this show with Panacea and Beatrice, who have in such a visionary way brought so much wellness to the entire nation for the next 6 months. And during these COVID times, if you've already suffered from COVID, your recovery is extremely important with complete physical and mental wellness. And God forbid if you have not succumbed to COVID yet, this is designed to strengthen your resistance so you can keep your balance, your physical and mental wellness, and get on to a better tomorrow when these terrible times are over.
Right. Thank you so much. I would like to tell everyone that Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta is one of the most popular and internationally acclaimed instructor, not just in India, but she has performed in various parts of the world. I'll just take one more minute. Panacea, as Sohini ma'am just said, is a 6-month-long campaign where we are bringing experts from yoga, mental health, nutrition, experts from cardiology, neurology, endocrinology, virtually to you, so that if
if you have suffered from COVID-19 disease, or if you are at the risk of developing the symptoms of COVID-19, or even the general public and elderly people can make the most of these sessions which are available online at your home. Without stepping from your home, you can attend these sessions. You can ask uh, questions to this all these experts who are participating in this program, and make the most of this opportunity. Today we are going to have three sessions. The first one is on yoga, then we will have a session on mental health, and a session on cardiology. We are very happy to inform you all that we are bringing top and very renowned experts from across the country for these sessions, and we are thankful to them that they have taken time out from their very busy schedule to participate and instruct you all virtually. With this, I would like to leave this stage, the virtual stage, to Sohini ma'am for the next 1 hour. And in the last 5 minutes, we will end this session at 9 o'clock. And at 8:55 or so, we will have some questions from the audience who would like to clear their doubts and talk to Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta. So thank you so much, Sohini ji, once again for supporting our initiative. And now with this, I leave this stage, virtual stage, to you for an hour. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Harshit. Hello, all of you, and welcome again to our Sunday session of Morning Wellness. As I had discussed the previous day, whether some of you were there, we are first going to focus on some breathing exercises, because this is something you can do from the comforts of your home or the comforts of an office or any other space that you like. We will do it in Padmasana, which is the lotus posture. I'll come to that. Or Sukhasana or Vajrasana. In these three postures, you can do your breathing exercises. Or alternatively, you can do it sitting on your sofa and chair if you have problems going down on the floor, or you're waiting in the doctor's chamber or the airport, or you're between breaks at your office. Ashtanga Yoga by Maharishi Patanjali. Anga means parts of the body. Ashta is the 8 limbs or 8 parts of the body that the Maharishi thought were important for our inner and outer wellness. 8 why? Because a lotus has 8 petals and are in equal proportion, symmetry and harmony to assure that our internal and external wellness is perfectly put together. So first, we will be doing the breathing exercises, and as you know, oxygen is the most important chemical that goes into our body, detoxes our system, and as we breathe, we don't even realize. We detox our body, bring out the impurities, and it assures brain health. Now, because we breathe all the time, we take it for granted. We don't give it attention, we don't feel how we breathe. But mindful breathing during yoga really helps to optimize wellness. You could either sit in the Padmasana and breathe in and out, take a deep breath in and breathe out, breathe in, deep, breathe out. Or you could sit at Sukhasana, just crossing over your legs. And I'm going to today start with the Ujjayi breathing. Ujjayi breathing is the breathing of the victorious, the breathing of the confident. And Ujjayi breathing is what makes you simulate the ocean waves. Like when you stand next to a sea, you see the waves going in and going out, and you can hear it. There is a distinctive sound. So we are going to breathe, making a sound. Deep breathe, making a sound. Breathe out, making a sound. And we breathe through here, the diaphragm, not through here. When you breathe through here and make a conscious effort to make a sound, you will hear a hissing sound. So make a hissing sound and breathe. Fill in your lungs. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Make a hissing sound as you breathe in and breathe out, because the Ujjayi breathing is the kind, the Ujjayi pranayama should be constant during all your yoga exercises and your mudra exercise. So we start, breathe in, making a sound, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. We are going to do it 10 more times now that you know how to do it. We start, as you breathe in deep, make a sound. As you breathe out deep, make a sound of hissing, but it is breathing through the nostrils, through the nose, mouth closed, and breathing through here, diaphragm. And breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. 5, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 3 more. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Last twice. Breathe in. Fill in your lungs till you can breathe no more and breathe out. Last one. Breathe in. Breathe out. All of you did quite well. I can feel it. And I'm sure you feel lightheaded with all that oxygen going into your body, going in correctly. Next, we are going to do the alternate breathing, the Nadi Shuddhi. For that, one hand is in your Dhyana Mudra, index fingers and thumb pressing together, stretched on your left leg. The right hand goes into the Vishnu Mudra, which means the index finger and the middle finger folded together, the thumb pressed on the right thumb pressed on the right nostril. Breathe in through your left nostril deep. Now release the right nostril, breathe out. Breathe in through the right nostril. Release through the left nostril. Breathe in through the left nostril. Release through the right. And we carry on a cycle of 10. Breathe in through the right nostril. Release through the left. Breathe in through the left. Release through the right. Breathe in through the right. Release through the left. Breathe in through the left nostril. Release through the right. Breathe in through the left, right. Release through the left. Breathe in through the left. Release through the right. Breathe in through the right. Release through the left. Breathe in through the left. Release through the right. Breathe in through the right. Release from, exhale from the left nostril. Deep breath through the left nostril. Fill in your lungs. Release through your right nostril. Breathe in through the right nostril. Release through the left. Breathe in through the left nostril. Press your left nostril, release the right nostril, breathe out through the right nostril. And last, breathe in through the right nostril. Deep breath, release through the left. Here's your Nadi Shuddhi, using your right thumb to block the right nostril. When you breathe in through the left, and your ring finger and little finger to block the left nostril when you release your right to exhale. I'm sure you've got the Nadi Shuddhi right. Next, we are going to do the Kapalbhati, which is the gentle inhalation and the forceful exhalation, which throws out impurities of the body with the carbon dioxide that we breathe out. It is also very good to tone your abdomen, to reduce your waist, which all of us at all times want to keep our waist slim. Also, please remember, if you're pregnant, this is not to be done. If you have high blood pressure, this is not to be done. You must not do it, not to be done if you're pregnant or you have high blood pressure. This is also to be done on an empty stomach, sitting up straight. You could do it in Sukhasana or you could do it in Vajrasana, the thunderbolt posture. This is how you do it. Breathe in deep, hold for a second and breathe out forcefully. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 5 more times. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. 3 more times. Breathe in and breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Last time. And your Kapalbhati is done. We will come back to Sukhasana. If you want to stretch a little before we begin the Mudra Wellness, stretch out your legs, feel the stretch here. Right hand on the right feet and left hand holding your heel. Put your head down on your knee. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Up again. Left hand on your left feet. Right hand going behind, holding the left heel. Put your head down on your knee and stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And up. Put your feet together. Breathe deeply. Hold your feet from the bottom with your feet and put your hand down and stretch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch your arms out. We repeat this to stretch. Hold to your feet. Put your head down on your knees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Stretch out. With all that breathing and stretching, you should be feeling better. We will now concentrate on the mudra wellness. Mudras are gestures of the hand, which are closures, points of closures, which actually bring about happiness and well-being. Your hand has 5 fingers, which represents the Panchabhuta. The thumb stands for fire or Agni. The index finger stands for air. The middle finger stands for Akash, the sky. The ring finger stands for the earth. And the little finger stands for water. So our bodies are composed of these 5 elements. And each time we hold a mudra for a longer time, not just a flash, but some are for 15 minutes, some for 20 minutes, various parts of energy, various channels of energy, various parts of the fingers touch, and various channels of energy in the brain are active, and that balances our parasympathetic and sympathetic part of the brain and pushes in energy to various channels of our body, the various nadis of our body. The Panchabhuta element in our bodies have to be balanced for a perfect feeling of physical and mental wellness. As you know, during COVID times, mental wellness is very important. A lot of you may be locked up in the house, not being able to go, not being able to go out, not being able to meet your close people, not being able to go into the outdoor. So this is the best we can do from the comforts of your home. Here that you have your 5 fingers, we are going to do our mudras today with a little bit of storytelling so you remember. The first mudra is the Ganesha mudra. Here are your hands. Hold your fingers together, clasp it here away from the body. The right hand over the left palm. This is your Ganesha mudra. Hold it tightly, and if you can breathe in the Ujjayi pranayam, it's very good. This can be done from anywhere. You can even be lying on bed and doing it. You could be lying down on bed and doing it. This is your Ganesha mudra. It helps spine health. It helps your cervical part of the spine. It helps your brain. It balances your brain, the passive and active parts. So you feel a sense of wellness. This is also very good for your heart, very good for your respiratory tract. If you have hypertension, if you suffer from hypertension or anxiety or nervousness, this is the perfect mudra to hold as you sit straight, spine completely straight, and hold. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ganesha mudra, right hand over the left hand. Clasp it together. See, this is what we do. Clasp it, hold it tightly in the fist, and here it is. If you can't see the mudras very clearly after this session, on this channel, on this post, I'm going to post pictures of these mudras in close-up So you can follow them and do them for your wellness and activity. So here is the Ganesha Mudra. After the Ganesha Mudra, we will come to Shiva, Mahadeva, the Bhairava Mudra. How do we do it? It's very easy. Here is your left hand, over that you put your right hand. Right hand over left hand, elbows straight away from the body, and you're holding it closer to your heart space. And breathe deeply. If you can do this for 5 or 7 minutes every day, it's very good for you. So this is the Bhairava Mudra, which helps lung issues, which improves eyesight, which is very good for hypertension, removes anxiety, and above all, it energizes you. It gives you complete energy when you wake up. Winter mornings, you may not feel like waking up at an early hour, but you need to work, you need to go out, you need to exercise. So the Bhairava Mudra is perfect to energize you and get you there. This is the Bhairava Mudra. Shiva. So we finished Ganesha, we finished Shiva. Next, when we talk about Shiva, we have to talk about Parvati or Sati. Now, Bhairava Mudra, if we reverse, we put the left hand over the right hand. And the same posture, that is your Bhairavi Mudra, the Mother Goddess Mudra. That energizes you, that reduces anxiety, reduces hypertension, lowers blood pressure, calms you down, just like Shiva is the active one and Parvati calms him down. Similarly, the Bhairava Mudra, right hand over left hand, and the Bhairavi Mudra, the left hand over the right hand, and the left hand being connected to the heart, it calms you down. If your heart is beating too fast, you're out of breath, this is the perfect mudra to calm your body down and restore balance. So we've done Ganesha, we've done Shiva, we've done Parvati. Next, we will come to Vishnu. Vishnu, as you know, has the conch shell, the Shankha. We will hold the Shankha Mudra. Here is your left hand. With the right hand, we hold on to the thumb, clasp on to the thumb, and take the right thumb to touch the left index finger. I'll do it again. Hands spread out. With your right hand, hold on to your left thumb, and then the right thumb should touch the left index fingers. This is the Shankha Mudra of Vishnu. Here it goes, the Shankha Mudra of Vishnu. Hold it tight, holding your shoulders straight, holding your spine straight, pressing against the floor with your body. Here is the Shankha Mudra, which cures all illnesses relating to the throat. If you have a sore throat, if you have a throat ache, if you have thyroid, or if you have problems related to tonsil or any bronchial issues, the Shankha Mudra, holding it 10 to 15 minutes a day, can really help. And this is also mudra, you can do it lying down on your bed. Here is your Shankha Mudra. Right hand here, left hand, right, with your right hand, hold your left thumb, and then let your right thumb touch your index fingers. So here is your Shankha Mudra, Lord Vishnu, to clear your throat. The chakra here is helped, bronchial issues are helped, sore throat, cough and cold, tonsillitis issues, and thyroid here at your throat for the Shankha Mudra. Next, we will come to Brahma, the creator, the Brahma Mudra. Hold your hands out, the palm, in a tight fist, thumb in first and then your fingers. Thumb should not be out. First your thumb in, then the rest of your fingers to make a fist, and here it is. Press the two fists together. It can be like this too, on top or at the bottom. And press the two. This is the Brahma Mudra. Brahma. I'll show it to you once again. Your palm out, thumbs in, curl your hands into a ball, into a fist, tightly, turn it over and press it together. Press it together. That is the Brahma Mudra, which increases focus, which increases memory, alertness, it helps concentration, and also contributes to the health of your spine, to your cervical vertebra. This is the Brahma Mudra. Next, we will go on to Indra. Indra, as you know, is the king of gods, and what he holds is the thunderbolt. So, the thunderbolt mudra, the Vajra, all fingers wrapped in together, like this, the thumb goes over them, and here. Point your index finger out like this. Here you hold it. This is the Vajra Mudra. The Vajra Mudra energizes you. It is for a surge of energy, for feeling empowered, for concentration. If you're feeling down, if you're feeling sad, if you're feeling depressed, this is the perfect mudra to bring you back to your happy, confident self. The Vajra Mudra, index finger out and here. We will go over these mudras once again so that you don't forget, just to sum up. Here is the Ganesha Mudra. Hand, right hand over left hand, fingers clasped together, thumbs tucked in, held here, shoulders up. This is the Ganesha Mudra. The Bhairava Mudra, right hand over left hand in a meditation posture. The Bhairavi Mudra, right hand over, left hand over right hand, to calm down your senses and for the health of your heart, the cardiovascular tract and the respiratory tract. We go on to then the Vishnu Mudra, the Shankha Mudra, right hand holding the left thumb and the right thumb over the left index fingers. This is the Vishnu Mudra to clear out throat ailments. The Brahma Creator Mudra, thumb in, roll up your fist and hold it together. From the Brahma Mudra to improve your spine, to improve your posture, to improve bone health, but also for the alertness of the brain. For the alertness of the brain, for complete concentration, for reducing hypertension. This is the Brahma Mudra. And the Indra, the king of gods, the Indra Mudra, Indra and his Vajra. We fold in the fingers, hold it with our thumb, keep the index fingers out, and here goes. This is the Vajra Mudra for instant energy, instant confidence, to throw away all those bouts of sadness so as not to feel depressed, not to feel tired, and get on with the day of work. So here are the mudras, as I told you. So we've done our breathing exercises, some of our mudras, and some stretching. Next, I'm going to go over some asanas. As you know, in yoga, asanas are the postures and pranayams are the breathing exercises. So today, a lot of you have been asking me whether there are asanas to improve skin. I would say I would talk about 6 asanas that are all, they have various uses for our entire body, but also they are very good for a glowing, healthy skin, because it causes more blood circulation and helps us glow and have better skin with these couple of asanas. I will start right away. First, we will start with the Shishu Asana. The Shishu Asana is the posture of a child. If you have a child at home or a child playing with you, first we sit at Vajrasana, arms stretched, we bring it on the floor, and our forehead will be touching the floor in this stretch, and we will count 10. So all of you, whatever you can do, if you can't go down on the floor, go down as much as you can. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Shishu Asana, we will do it once again. Stretch out your arms, sit at Vajrasana, that is kneel sit, and stretch out. Go on the floor, press your forehead to the floor and count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Slowly get up. 5 seconds rest, Vajrasana. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we will go to the Cobra posture, the Bhujangasana, which I will do it sideways. I hope you can all see me. The Bhujangasana, the Cobra posture, is the second asana for skin-related wellness. You have to first lie flat on your stomach, hands by the side. Bring up your hands where your shoulders are, your shoulder blade. Bring it up, keep it there. Turn around. Lift your body up and look up to the Cobra posture. I think you can all see me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. When we do this, your navel must be in the air, rest of the body pressed to the floor. 5 seconds rest. You go down, hands by the side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Once again, keep your palm firmly on the mat next to your shoulder blades. Using your palm, go up. Upper body must be lifted up. Lower body pressed to the floor. The Cobra posture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Go down slowly, lower your body slowly, and rest your hands by the side for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is the Bhujangasana, Shishu Asana and Bhujangasana, which help restore skin balance. Already, if you're doing it with me, you'll see your face is flush red because the blood circulation starts, prevents acne, prevents breakouts, and keeps your skin radiant and healthy. The next one that I show you would be the Sarvangasana, which is a shoulder stand, which also is very good for your skin, is good for the rest of your body, is good for your lungs, it's good for your bronchial system, and very good for your thyroid. If you have hyper or hypothyroid, it is very good, and it has curing effects on the thyroid. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the Sarvangasana, which is the shoulder stand, followed by the Halasana, which is the plow position. So we are going to do 2 cycles, 10 each, of the Sarvangasana and the Halasana. Go down on the floor, flat, lie down, put your hands under your hips, lift up your legs, and more till you're standing on your shoulders and supporting your waist with your hands. You're holding up your waist with your hands. Look straight up. Eyes should be looking at your toes and count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take it back, lower it on the floor in the plow posture. Hands by your side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Now lower your body back. See how we get back. First lower your lower body. Fold your legs so there are no jerks. And go down on the floor. Rest for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We repeat the Sarvangasana, which is the shoulder stand, which works on all parts of your bodies. And from the Sarvangasana, we will go into the Halasana. Your hands tucked away under your hips to give you support. Lift up both your legs. Then hold your waist and prop your body up to stand on the shoulders. Straighten your legs. So with your eyes you look straight at your toes. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take your body, stretch your body more. Take your toes to touch the floor behind your head in the Halasana or plow position. Hands by your sides. Count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Gently lower your body. First, lower your lower part of the body. Fold your legs and take it to the floor so that there are no jerks. Rest position. 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Next, we are going to do what we have already done is the Shishuasana, the Bhujangasana, the Sarvangasana, and the Halasana. Next, we are going to do the Matsyasana, the fish posture. The fish posture, you can, if you can't do a Padmasana or a Sukhasana, keep your legs straight, or you can fold it like this. Fold it crossing over, see. Left first, in, right, crossing over. Take your hands like this and prop up the upper part of your body. So only your head is resting and the body is in an arch like the fish. 1 and 2. 1, 2. Once the head is propped up, bring your hands to rest on your thighs. Count 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Take your hands back to put your head back into position and rest for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We repeat this. Legs in the Sukhasana posture. Bring your hands here near your ears near your ears, and arch your body. Only the head rests on the floor. Arch. Bring your hands to your thighs. This is the Matsyasana. And breathe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take your hands back on the floor. With that support, put your head back, your entire body on the mat. And back to your position. Straight posture again. Lie down for 5 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Now we will get up, and there's a technique of getting up. Turn over the sides, and here we get up. If you get up straight, we don't want any jerk because that's not good for your blood pressure. We tend to do that when we wake up in the morning, just get up with a start. Or when you're lying down, get up with a start. It's not good for you because then the muscles may cramp. Or you might have a sudden surge of blood in your head. You might feel dizzy. So you get up gently from the side. So the last asana that I show you, that is meant for the skin, for benefits of the skin and a glowing skin, would be the Ushtrasana, which is the camel posture. The camel posture, we are standing on our knees. Vajrasana, we are standing with knee stand. Take your right hand around and touch your right heel. Similarly, take your left hand and touch your left heel. And here we go in the camel posture. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come straight up. Sit at Vajrasana. That is the resting posture for Ushtrasana. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We repeat this once again. Stand, kneel stand, right hand stretch, touch the heel, left hand stretch, touch the left heel, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come up in the Vajrasana. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We have done, now we are going to do Shavasana, which is the lying down asana. To rest from the asana routine for 10 counts, we are going to do Shavasana. Lie flat on your back, hands upturned like this, head on the side, and count 10. 1, let your body go, don't hold, let loose. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, now turn over and up you go. So these are the asanas for today. Were tailored towards a glowing skin. What were the asanas? We'll go over it again. Shishu asana, the child posture, Bhujangasana, the cobra posture, Sarvangasana, the shoulder stand, Halasana, the plow, Matsyasana, the fish, and the Ushtrasana, the camel. That with your breathing exercises, the pranayam, the Ujjayi pranayam, the Kapalbhati, and the Nadi Shuddhi, and our storytelling mudras, the Ganesha, the Bhairava, the Bhairavi, Vishnu's Shankha, Brahma mudra, and your Vajra mudra. I would think that would be all for today. More or less a routine. If you have any questions, I'm very happy to answer them. So over to Harshad and Pooja.
Thank you so much, Ms. Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta. Thank you so much for it was really great. Today we learned good number of asanas. I just have one question that we would like to consider for today. Someone has asked that if they are not able to perform the way instructor perform, right? These all these asanas, what should do they do?
You see, if they have a particular cramp or they're not as flexible,
Uh-huh.
flexibility happens with yoga. So if you're trying to do it, by the 10th day, you'll see you'll be able to do it. Number
Okay.
one. And number two, if you have a problem, any medical issue or something, then concentrate on the upper part of the body. If you can't do the lower part, make sure you're sitting on a hard surface which is firm, and concentrate on the upper body exercises.
Right, right. One more question, which is, I mean, of course, we should answer this because many people, do have these questions. Probably they may not ask it every time. Is that should we strictly perform yoga in the morning, or we can do it in the evening or night also?
Ideally, you should do it in the morning, but many of you work and many of us travel a lot. I myself travel a lot, so you're in various time zones. So then you should do it in the evening. It doesn't matter as long as you do it, because morning here may be evening in Japan. So
Right,
looking at the bigger perspective, as long as you do your yoga, better to do it in the morning, but very good to do it in at other times of the day. But make sure you do it on an empty stomach, at least 1.5 to 2 hours after you've eaten anything.
okay, okay,
And also, it is said that even before doing yoga, 20 minutes before, also, you should not drink any liquid, not even a sip of water. So,
right.
keeping that in mind, you can do it any time of the day.
Okay, great. Thank you so much. Uh, One more question that probably you may answer in your next session on next Sunday is related to yoga for backache and back pain, right? So someone would like to understand about this more, and I think we can take this in the next session next Sunday when you again join us. So thank you so much, Soiniji. We have our next expert, Dr. Sudipta. She has also joined us for today, and I would request my team to bring our next session is on mental health as we had announced in the morning. Dr. Sudipta Roy is with us. Welcome, Dr. Roy, to the show. You are on mute, ma'am. Yes, yes, yes.
Good
Welcome.
morning.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Sudipta Roy. As you're aware, I'll just like to take 1 minute. Panacea is one of a very interesting program that has been conceptualized by eHealth Magazine and Viatris,
Right.
earlier known as Mylan Pharmaceutical Private Limited. Mylan, in fact, is a Viatris company now, and with the support of Beatrice, we have been able to conceptualize a 6 month long campaign. And the best thing about this campaign is that through this campaign, we are bringing renowned experts like you on this virtual platform for people across the country, across the world. They can join us, they can attend the session, and there is too without paying any kind of fee to attend this session. So I welcome you to the show. And if my colleague Pooja Banerjee is also there, she can just come on the camera for a minute. Uh,
Good morning.
yeah. Hello, Pooja.
Good
Thank you so
morning.
much. So, Dr. Sudipta Roy, we had a session on yoga just now in the morning by Ms. Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta, one of the internationally acclaimed expert on yoga in Natya Shastra. And now this virtual dais will be belongs to you for the next 45 minutes. So one more time, I'd like to request you that we have been joined by people from several various categories, like people who are suffering due to COVID and are isolation. People probably have recovered from COVID and they are into isolation and suffering from the after effect of the disease. And we have elderly people and general public joining our session every Sunday. So with this, I leave this stage to Dr. Sudipta Roy. Pooja, do you have anything to comment on?
Yes, ma'am, I think you will be presenting a PPT. So after that, we'll be taking a few questions and we'll be coming back
Please,
with the question.
yeah, please hang on for one moment. Your audio is
Yes.
not very clear to me, Pooja. So I
Okay.
will just log in with my speakers, so that will help us to be more
Am I
clear.
okay? Am I audible to you, ma'am?
Yes, Harshal is very audible. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So, ma'am, we are presenting a PPT. We are right now at this moment we are speaking. We are live and everyone can hear us. So,
Yes.
you will be presenting a PPT, and then
Yeah.
we will like to take questions and from the audience if we have any questions from the audience, right? So,
Yes.
and if you face any problem in sharing the PPT, please let us know. Or I think my colleague already has got your PPT, right, Pooja?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yes.
yes, I've already shared it with the team.
So I leave this stage to Pooja and Dr. Sudipta Roy. Thank you.
Right.
Pooja, over to you. Pooja,
Thank you.
over.
Harshal. Thank you. Ma'am, we would like to take the session right now with you. So even I'll leave and I'll come back once you are done with the PPT and we'll be coming back with the questions.
Okay. Yeah. Sure. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So you'll be sharing the screen, or should I? I'll.
We'll be doing that screen share.
Okay. That's great.
It's
Okay.
already shared.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you.
All right. Yeah. So thank you so much, Pooja and Elets, for this opportunity to address all of you on this all important issue of mental wellness. I'm a clinical psychologist practicing since 26 years. I'm at Surat and I run my own center. I'm a Rehabilitation Council of India certified practitioner. And I want to just tell you a few things that might help you to kind of nurture your emotional wellness in this time of the pandemic. So many people have suffered so much during this time. It's an unprecedented event, and our lives have taken a 360-degree turn. So let's go to the next slide. So I would say, to begin with, I like to have a touch of humor, and in these tough times, I think humor is a big, हथियार जो हमारे पास होता है हर चीज को डील करने के लिए. So this coronavirus is something like an alien which has invaded us, and Hollywood films has promised us since long that कभी ना कभी ये stage आएगा कि aliens हमारे देश को ले लेंगे. तो aliens तो आए नहीं, पर कम एक वायरस आ गया, ऐसा वायरस जो हमारे लाइफ को टोटली हिला दिया. Let's go to the next slide. Yeah. So all of us have faced a number of challenges during this time in the pandemic. Our routine lives have been disturbed. Many of us are not able to leave home. We have a restricted social life. हमारी एक्टिविटीज कम हो गई है या अलग हो गई है. कई लोगों को इकोनॉमिक स्ट्रेन है, लाइक पीपल आर सफरिंग बिकॉज फाइनेंसेस आर लो राइट नाउ. Our incomes may have got lost. Some of us have lost jobs, and we have less access to being with the people that we were. Apart from that, we also have less access to outdoor and recreational activities जो पहले हम लोग खूब enjoy करते थे, बाहर जाना, खाना, दोस्तों के साथ रहना. अभी ये सब चीज़ें भी कम हो गई है. एंड अगर आपको कोविड हुआ है तो उसके बाद तो ये चीज़ें कुछ दिनों तक, जब तक आप क्वारंटाइन में हैं, तब तक आपकी लाइफ बहुत ही अलग हो जाती है. उसके अलावा we also experience that there is a less access to desired supplies. First, our homes were full of things, and now we have to compromise on a number of things. Our household responsibility has increased, our demands have increased. There is an increase in negative feelings like boredom, anxiety, fear, uncertainty, agitation, इरिटेशन, एंगर, फ्रस्ट्रेशन, ये सभी चीज़ें हमको होती है. और हमारे आसपास जो भी हैं, आपने इनमें भी नोटिस किया होगा कि दे आर ऑल्सो सफरिंग इन द सिमिलर वे. आपके फ्रेंड्स भी यही बताएंगे कि वो लोग बोर्ड है, वो एंग्शियस फील कर रहे हैं, किसी किसी को बहुत ज़्यादा फियर हो जाता है. इसी टाइम में हमने ये भी देखा है कि लोगों का वेट में भी काफ़ी उतार चढ़ाव रहता है. किसी की बहुत गेन हो जाती गेन हो जाती है और किसी किसी की बहुत कम हो गई है इस टाइम पे. आई हैव सीन पीपल हु हैव लॉस्ट 10 to 12 kgs इन द लॉकडाउन पीरियड and some who have gained 10 to 12 kgs also. Lot of people are fearing the illness. अनेक साइकोसिस सा बना पड़ा है. लाइक किसको आने दे घर में, किसको नहीं आने दे, कहाँ जाए, कहीं कहाँ नहीं जाए, ये सारी चीज़ें सबको बहुत परेशान करके रखी है. लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सो ऑल ऑफ दिस इज रिजल्टिंग इन स्ट्रेस फॉर अस. एंड हमारी हालत एक इस तरीके के मीटर की है जो एकदम हाई लेवल पे पहुंच गई है एंड रेडी टू बर्स्ट. हमारा दिमाग अभी फट रहा है एंड वी कांट रियली नो व्हाट टू डू विद आवरसेल्व्स एट दिस टाइम. लेट्स गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड. सो ये स्ट्रेस क्या चीज़ होती है, इसको हमें थोड़ा सा गहराई से समझना है. एक चीज़ है कि देर आर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ स्ट्रेसर्स. मतलब हमारे लाइफ में हम देखते हैं कि हर एक इंसान को अलग अलग टाइप्स की स्ट्रेस फेस करनी पड़ती है. लाइक अ लॉट ऑफ पीपल फेस एनवायरमेंटल स्ट्रेस, ऑल ऑफ अस डू दैट. जैसे पोल्यूशन है, नॉइज़ ज़्यादा है, वाटर स्कैसिटी है, हमारी एयर पोल्यूशन है. ऑल ऑफ दिस क्रिएट्स अ लॉट ऑफ एनवायरमेंटल स्ट्रेस ऑन अस. उसके अलावा हम साइकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेसेस भी फेस करते हैं. कभी कभी वी हैव सम विशेस, लाइक जैसे हमने सोचा था कि हम कोई अपने करियर में एक मुकाम पे पहुंचेंगे, पर हम वहाँ नहीं पहुंच पाते हैं. सो दैट क्रिएट्स अ साइकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेस. कभी कभी ऐसे होता है कि व्हेन वी आर विद पीपल whom वी लव, वी फाइंड दैट वो लोग कुछ हमसे चाहते हैं जो हम रेडी नहीं है देने के लिए, या हम कुछ मांग रहे हैं उनसे और वो नहीं दे पाते हमें. सो दिस अगेन क्रिएट्स अ साइकोलॉजिकल स्ट्रेस फॉर अस. प्लस हमारी खुद की फ्रस्ट्रेशंस होती हैं कि लाइक वी वांट टू डू सर्टेन थिंग्स एंड वी आर नॉट एबल टू डू देम. Like a lot of us used to have a habit of going to the malls every weekend. And now because of the COVID situation, we find that we are not able to do that. So again, that creates frustration and stress for us. Apart from that, we also have some social stresses. Social stresses are like, say, two people have some conflict between them. That creates a social stress. For a shy person, going to social events itself becomes a stress. Sometimes you have another situation like in your workplace with your boss or your juniors. Sometimes things don't work out so well. You can't communicate very nicely or they don't communicate well. There are misunderstandings and all of this creates social stressors. Then we have different dimensions of these stressors which also affect us accordingly. कुछ स्ट्रेसेस इजी होती हैं, हल्की फुल्की होती है. जैसे कि आज के दिन में खाने में नमक नहीं था, तो ये बहुत छोटा सा स्ट्रेस हो गया. So the intensity of such a stressor is so less, and in the moment you put salt, the stress goes. So this kind of a stress doesn't really bother us so much. But on the other hand, there are certain stressors which are quite intense and they are likely to affect us a lot. Like for example, if we have like somebody who's going through a bad illness or somebody who has been affected by COVID and has had very acute symptoms and has had to be hospitalized for that. This is a very intense and serious stress. Then the other aspect of the stress that affects us is its duration, how long it lasts. If a stress lasts for only a short time, then it does not affect us very much. On the other hand, if it is a long time stressor, like somebody suffering from diabetes or going through dialysis due to kidney failure. These are chronic ailments and they go on for a long time, so they create more stress. It's not just health related issues that can be creating such kind of stress for us. It would be other things also, like supposing there is a business person and their business is not doing well, and it's not doing well for 10 years together. So obviously that duration of stress is a very long one to face, and it creates a lot of problem for the person. Some stresses are quite complex, like for example, a person living in a joint family may face some very complicated types of stressors, like say you have to maintain the relationship between so many people. So there is a responsibility towards the people in the house. There is a demand that you have to adjust with the emotionality of everybody in the house, and also you should also not create conflicts. So you can't make demands, you have to adjust with other people's demands, and you can't show your emotions very well, and you have to maintain your roles and responsibilities. So this will create a lot of a complexity in the mind of the person, and this can be very stressful also. Some stresses are quite predictable, and if we have faced them before, then it helps us to deal with it easily. Like supposing a lot of women may face this thing, that suddenly your maid or household help doesn't come on a particular day. Now this is a situation which you have faced before, so you know what to do in that situation. Sometimes you have an unpredictable situation, like say, for example, household help leaves suddenly without any information and goes away, and you are not able to find a replacement. So this is an unpredictable situation which would create a lot of stress for you. And if we put it in this COVID situation, what we can see is that everything we are facing right now has been quite unpredictable, because we don't know what is going to happen with this illness. We don't know how it's going to affect people, and we don't know what is going to be the long term consequence of this illness. So, there is the current situation of the pandemic is an intense stress. It is a long duration stress. We are all fighting since a year. It is a very complex situation because it is affecting us on multiple levels, and there is no predictability. So, at present, all of us, we can assume safely that we are all affected by a very high level of stress. What really helps people to face stress? There are certain personality characteristics that help us to deal with our stressors. In that, your own physical health, your physiological health, your vulnerabilities, your psychological and mental health, your own temperament, that is your nature, and how well you think of yourself. Are you a confident person? Are you an inconfident person? All of this will help you to deal with your stresses well. Also, there are certain cultural things which impact us at the level of stress. Like, say, for example, when we look back into the life of 1960s or 70s, academic work was not such a big stress in everybody's life. But today, academic performance is so important that everybody wants to get into a good college, everybody has to perform well if they want to get somewhere in life. तो आपकी करियर बहुत ज़्यादा निर्भर उस बात पे करती है कि आपकी एकेडमिक परफॉर्मेंस कैसी रही है. So culturally, we find certain definitions of what is important in life, what is an achievement in life, how important wealth is, and all of this then defines how much we are going to be affected by certain stresses. Right now, health is a very important value. We have seen that over the last 20 years or more, people have taken up to a lot of lifestyle changes. Like people have included exercise in their daily routine, walking, cycling, all of these things have become important to us. Going to gyms is also important to us. So there's a cultural definition of health at present, which is also pressurizing. Like all of us find the need to remain physically fit and to be symptom free or health without any major illnesses. When we evaluate a stress, then our resources are important in deciding how stressful that is going to be for us. Like, say, do we have enough money? Do we have the right kind of health? Do we have good relationships and supportive people around us? And do we have the skill to deal with what is there before us? Like, say, some time back, we had seen a tremendous exodus of migrant population. Why did that happen? Because in their level of skills, they don't know how to adapt to the current situation. In their level of skills, it's not possible for them to generate alternate incomes right away. So it's a very different scenario that they are facing. So all of this together determines how we would react to our stress. Sometimes our bodies break down, immunity breaks down, and we get different types of illnesses. And this is our physiological response. Sometimes we respond at the level of behavior. That is, somebody starts becoming very withdrawn, starts remaining at home, avoids going to work. This is a behavioral response to the stress. At the other level, we also see that there is an emotional response. Some people become more irritable or they become more sad and depressed whenever there is a stress in their life. And then we also see certain cognitive responses to stress. Like, say, some people develop negative thoughts and are constantly overthinking. So, that is a cognitive response. Sometimes we also see people losing memory because of stress. We also see that they uh, do not have a good enough attention span and they are not able to focus on things as well as they used to when they were not stressed. So, stress seems to be a very big package of problems. It seems to be affecting us at multiple levels in multiple ways, and there are several factors involved that determine whether we'll be affected by stress or not. Next slide, please. So, when we are dealing with a tough situation like the COVID sequelae, then we often think of it only as a physical problem. Like, हम सोचते हैं कि चलो आपको ये कोविड इन्फेक्शन हुआ था तो अभी यू शुड डू इनहेलेशन, यू शुड टेक काढ़ा, you should take vitamin C, you should take vitamin B, and try to remain immune to other infections during this time. You change your lifestyle, try to strengthen your lungs and heart, and that will kind of build an armor for you physically. But at that time, we rarely tell ourselves that we have to look after our mental health also. ये बात तो हमारे ध्यान में रहता ही नहीं है कि हमारे दिमाग की भी केयर हमें लेनी होती है. तो आज हम ये देखना चाहेंगे कि दिमाग का केयर कैसे लिया जाता है. Let's go to the next slide. So first, let's look at what is mental health. Mental health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. It's not merely the absence of a disease or infirmity. A lot of people think कि अगर हमें कोई दिमागी बीमारी ना हो तो हम मेंटली स्वस्थ है, पर वो सही नहीं होता, क्योंकि मेंटली स्वस्थ होना इसे कहा जाता है कि हमारी शारीरिक स्वस्थता भी हो, दिमाग की स्वस्थता भी हो और हमारे रिलेशनशिप्स की भी स्वस्थता हो. So mental health is defined as a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potential and can cope with the normal stresses of life. They can work productively and fruitfully and are able to contribute to their communities. So, to be a mentally healthy person, you should be able to realize your potentials. You have to be able to deal with problems in your life and you should be a productive member of your society. Like you are contributing occupationally, financially to your family as well as your community. Only then you are mentally healthy. Let's go to the next slide. So, what is the significance of mental health today in this pandemic time? So, the pandemic has induced lockdown, which has impacted us all. There are several triggers of mental health conditions. People have lost family members, they have become isolated, they have lost income, they are constantly fearful of getting the virus, and many people have faced high levels of depression, high levels of alcohol use, drug use, sleep issues, anxiety also. There is increased domestic violence, there is an increase in child abuse, and there is an increase in academic and behavioral problems of children. Let's go to the next slide. So, what can we do to manage our stress levels and thus achieve a better mental health? There is a four-step approach which I have called ACAC. That is, you have two ACs. You need to have two ACs to deal with this stress. One is acceptance. Like, say, we need first of all to be able to accept that something like this has come onto this planet. We have a virus to face, and we are all in it together. So we need to figure out that there is an illness around. अभी आज अगर आप बाहर निकलेंगे आप देखेंगे कुछ लोग हैं जो बहुत बोल्ड हैं, आई वुड से रिस्क टेकर्स हैं, क्योंकि वो लोग मास्क के बिना घूम रहे, उनको सैनिटाइजर्स की कोई परवाह नहीं है, हाथ धोना भी शायद भूल जाते होंगे. इन्हीं कारणों से वो लोग अपने आप को और दूसरे लोगों को इस इन्फेक्शन के रिस्क में डालते हैं. So these are the people in denial that there is nothing like COVID around, and ये सब मन की बात है, ये सब this is just a big scam. Let's just forget about it and live our life as it was. Okay, so that is a situation of non-acceptance. First of all, to be healthy, we need to accept the reality around us. Second thing that we need to do is to be cooperative. Cooperative to whom? Cooperative to the government for whatever they administratively enforce in order for us to deal with this entire pandemic situation. Second thing is we need to cooperate with our own family members and employees or employers in such a time, because all of them are facing a very tough time and it is unprecedented. So cooperation is extremely important. The next thing we need to do is to fuel our awareness, like learn as much as we can about the virus, its nature, and its treatments. WHO is constantly addressing the entire world on live Facebook chats. I can say that they are also running around like a headless chicken because they don't know how to deal with this situation. But keeping ourselves informed keeps us forearmed. There was a time when this pandemic had just begun. तब ये बात चली थी कि सर्फेसिस की वजह से ये पैंडेमिक ज़्यादा फैल रहा है. अब हम जानते हैं कि 10% ऑफ द इन्फेक्शन इज एक्चुअली स्प्रेडिंग थ्रू सर्फेस. तो जितना हमें पहले पागलपंती करनी पड़ती थी, हर चीज़ को धो के सैनिटाइज करके रखो, उतना अभी हम ना भी करें तो भी चलेगा. So awareness is all the time going to help us to deal with our stress. The other thing that we need to do is control. Control what? We need to control our intention and control our intensity of emotions. Yes. Sorry. So what we find is controlling our emotions, like when we are feeling extremely bored, extremely sad, extremely anxious, or extremely angry, we have to learn to control that particular emotion, and we will be seeing later how can we do that. Let's go to the next slide. So, in order to be really taking care of yourself mentally, you have to do the following things, and it means taking a one dose of each of these things. That is, one at one level, we need to be looking after our bodies. So, a lot of people have been avoiding bath, grooming, hygiene, exercise. They may forget to take medicine. Why? Because their routine has changed, and the things that they needed to do, like घर से बाहर जाना जरूरी नहीं है, तो बाथ अवॉइड कर लिया, ग्रूमिंग अवॉइड कर ली, अपनी मेडिसिन की टाइमिंग पहले फिक्स थी कि ब्रेकफास्ट इस टाइम पे होता है, उसके बाद अब मेडिसिन लेंगे। पर अभी क्या हुआ है कि लोग ज़्यादा सो रहे हैं क्योंकि हमें कहीं जाना नहीं है, तो देन बिकॉज योर स्लीप साइकिल हैज़ चेंज, यू माइट एंड अप अवॉइडिंग योर मेडिसिन. So taking body care is an important part of the day, and we need to focus on it. The second thing that we need to do is to have focus on achievement at some level. So this can be done by kind of pursuing some academic goal, like enrolling for some courses. So even retired people or middle-aged people can still hone certain skills and learn certain new things while they are here in this lockdown period. You must have heard about these good websites called Coursera and Udemy. They've got a plethora of different types of courses that cater to different needs of people. पेरेंटिंग की भी कोर्सेज होती है, मेडिटेशन की भी होती है, इंडियन फिलॉसफी पे भी होता है, स्पिरिचुअलिटी पर भी होती है. So you can take some of these courses and build your knowledge and awareness. You can also indulge in cooking and cleaning and taking care of the children. So, no matter what age you are, whether you're a young adult, a middle aged adult, or an elderly person, you can participate in looking after the emotional needs of the children in your own home or else in your neighborhood, because they are also at home and getting bored. So, they need different types of stimulation. So, your sense of achievement can come out of reaching out to all of these people. Then you can also build connections with different people in your family. You can strive to have a different type of relationship than it was before. You can bond with your relatives, with your friends, maybe even shop owners, pets. Try to keep connected emotionally and socially. The other thing that we need a once daily dose of is recreation. कुछ ना कुछ हमें अपने मन बहलाने के लिए भी करना ज़रूरी होता है, जैसे watching movies, listening to music, going for indoor games or outdoor games, and dance and craft, or even reading. Many of us have the hobby of reading, and this is something that comes to the rescue at a time like this. So it's an extremely important area of mental and emotional well-being. Let's look at the next slide. So, जैसे हमने देखा है कि काढ़ा या इनहेलेशन करने से हम अपनी रिस्क फॉर डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ फिजिकल प्रॉब्लम्स रिलेटेड टू रेस्पिरेटरी इलनेस अवॉइड कर पाते हैं, उसी तरीके से हम अपनी पर्सनालिटी को ज़्यादा स्ट्रेस रेजिलिएंट बनाने से we can avoid mental illness. So there is a concept of hardiness given by Suzanne Kobasa, and she says that we can develop a stress resilient personality by having three qualities. One is challenge, the other is control, and the third is commitment. What is this challenge? Challenge means looking at things in your environment, whatever is stressful, you look at it as an opportunity to develop yourself in some way. So if we look at things as a problem, then it becomes more challenging. And if we look at it as an opportunity to develop ourselves or the environment, then it becomes an easier thing for us to do. Then we have to develop control. If we believe that our life outcomes are more in our own control rather than something happening because of luck, chance, and fate, then we are likely to become more stress resilient. Like, in the sense, सपोजिंग यू थिंक कि ये जो पैंडेमिक है उस पर मेरी कोई रोल ही नहीं है, तो आप वो ही करेंगे जो और लोग कर रहे हैं कि मास्क के बिना घूम रहे हैं या फिर हैंड वॉशिंग भूल रहे हैं, सो दी या फिजिकल डिस्टेंसिंग नहीं मेंटेन कर रहे। तो इफ यू बिलीव दैट यू हैव अ चांस ऑफ कंट्रोलिंग आउटकम्स इन योर लाइफ, you are likely to do the right thing to help deal with this whole infection. And you might find that you then remain symptom free and don't get this whole, you're not one of the victims of the pandemic. Then you have commitment. A lot of people who are stress resilient show a high level of commitment to their tasks and they have a strong sense of purpose. तो आप अगर कुछ वजह या वजूद के लिए जी रहे तो देन आपकी लाइफ बहुत अच्छी हो जाती है और आप हर तरीके के स्ट्रेस फेस कर पाते हैं. जैसे if in my life it has been a mission to work for the mental health of people around me and help them lead better lives. This whole thing makes my life so exciting that I'm able to get up for work with a sense of purpose, and no matter how serious the pandemic gets, I don't stop working and I keep trying to help people. So this strong sense of commitment helps you to get through stressful times. Let's go to the next slide. So to stay psychologically fit in this pandemic time, we have to do something for our physical wellness. We need to calm our minds, we need to nurture our relationships, and we need to build our emotional quotient. आपने ऑलरेडी देख लिया इसके पहले वाले सेशन में कि आप योगा करेंगे डेली तो आप किस तरह से अपने आप को हेल्प कर सकते हैं टू बूस्ट योर इम्यूनिटी एंड टू रिमेन physically fit. So, taking regular, good, nutritious diet, doing exercise, doing outdoor activity, and having regular sleep helps you to maintain good physical wellness. Apart from that, you can calm the mind by doing deep breathing exercises, also doing meditation, using relaxation techniques, and there are some very nice ones on different videos that you can follow. You can also download apps for relaxation, and all of them are useful. You can also take to journal writing, which is a very calming exercise. Then, apart from that, you need to nurture your relationships. How can you do that? Help in the household chores. So by that, you help your spouse. Then you have healthy communication. Healthy communication means a communication that conveys your feelings. Second, it is something that is done with respect to the opposite person. And third, it allows you to say exactly what you think or feel. So if you keep these three rules in mind, your communication can be better. Then the next thing is you need to avoid conflicts in relationships, and you need to develop more ways to bond with the people in your home and family. How can you do that? You need to do activities together and share your feelings together. Then you need to build your emotional quotient. You must have heard about emotional intelligence, that it is as important as IQ. And in fact, success in life often depends on a higher emotional quotient. So, what does that mean? That is knowing your emotions, identifying them correctly, labeling them correctly, then accept your own emotions and understand them, and also accept and understand the emotions of the opposite person. Then you need to regulate your emotions if they are out of control. Like, say, if you're very angry, then showing out your anger in an outburst is going to disturb your own physical and mental health as well as the health of others before you. So, we need to manage our own intense emotions by understanding, naming, and then doing something to calm ourselves down. So, at that time, even journaling helps, writing down your negative thoughts help, and also doing deep breathing exercises help you. very well to control your emotionality. Go to the next slide. So now that we are facing a partial lockdown situation, and we are also facing COVID sequelae, so we can do certain things to really make our lives better. That's what we are coming to. Go to the next one. Yes. So one way that you need to, you really need to look for warning signs right now to see whether you are facing any kind of mental health problem. How can you do this? If you have changes in your mood or energy level, if you have a change in your eating and sleeping habits, if you're withdrawing from people and activities that you enjoyed earlier, if you're feeling confused, forgetful, angry, upset, worried, scared, if you are feeling numb like nothing matters, or you have unexplained bodily symptoms, or you have feelings of sadness and hopelessness, then you must remember to visit a mental health professional. Let's take the next slide. So, in this time, what we can do best to help ourselves is to reframe our expectations by taking a minimalistic approach. Let's not hope for too much. We just hope for the basic minimum to survive and survive well right now. Next slide. We can also restructure our work by making some adjustments in our workspace and routine. Many of us are working from home, so we need to have a comfortable space that can help us to focus and do what we need to do. Next one. We also need to reevaluate our resources. What are our abilities? What are our monetary backups? What are our emotional backups? And what do we have in the environment to really fall back on? We also need to be hopeful about the vaccine that is coming up, and hopefully, we will all get some way to deal with this entire pandemic situation a little better. The next slide, please. We also need to redefine our relationships with the environment, and we need to bond with each other without media as well as bonding over media, because we cannot throw media out of our house, so it has to be there. Like this program itself is such a very healthy way in which in your own homes you can do things to help yourself for free, and that's all happening because of media. So we can redefine our relationships in in different areas and then start leading better lives. Yes. Next slide. Thank you so much, ELETS, and also Panacea, for this very wonderful opportunity to talk about mental health and create a better awareness in people about it. I think people know less and in this matter, so I really laud this effort to bring this to every home. Yeah. You're muted. Yeah.
Yes, sorry. So it has been a great session of yours, which has been very informative. I would just like to ask you, ma'am, one question that we have getting that what is, in your opinion, is the most important quality in a counseling psychologist? What is the most important? We have mastered the art of being calm in this
Yes.
during this pandemic. This pandemic
Yes.
has totally taught us this. So, what
Yes.
is, our opinion, is the most important quality a psychologist should have right now, where they are dealing with a lot of people who are suffering from depression and anxiety, also post
Yes.
COVID. So, if you can just say this on an ending note.
Yes, yes. So I think right now what we need most, what a counselor needs to have, and which is a beautiful quality that we develop with a great deal of difficulty.
Right.
I would say it's not just one quality, but it's more than one. One is listening, and that is listening without being judgmental. So that's very important. The second thing is being empathetic is very important right now. So, trying to put yourself in the other person's situation and understanding it from their point of view and not judging it. So, listen and empathize. This helps each counselor to reach out to their clients, and it also helps everyone who wants to nurture good relationships in their life. Yeah, COVID or not. Yeah.
Yes. So thank you so much for being with us in this session, and it has really been a great experience for all of us. And the PPT slides were very insightful and very helpful for all of us, and I'm sure a lot of people has been benefited about through this PPT presentation which you have done. And in this occasion, ma'am, I would like to thank Narayana Health, Viatris for supporting us, and Panacea is a session where we get along with all the psychiatric and psychologists, along with yoga experts and nutritionists, along with also medical practitioners, where under one roof every Sunday
Okay.
from onwards.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
where the registration is for free. It is panacea.iletsonline.com. And I would like to thank the entire team for getting this together, and ma'am, even you for a great insightful session for us, presenting it to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you, Pooja. And I would really love it if there's any question related to mental health. I'll be happy to take that over on. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Ma'am, as of now, we are about to just begin our cardiology session. So we
Okay.
can take up the questions also. So I'll get back to
Okay.
you.
Okay. Yeah. Fine. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. Yes, we have our cardiology session right now. We had a great psychiatric session by Dr. Sudipta Roy, and where we got to know a lot of things about mastering the art of staying calm during this pandemic, where everybody is suffering from this COVID crisis. So, I would like to call upon our next guest, uh, Dr. So, if Harshal can come on live,
Yeah, hi Pooja, thank you so much.
yes.
So our
So,
next
we
session
will
is
have
by,
the cardiologist.
yes. Our next session is by Dr. Praveen P. Sutherman from Narayana Health, Bangalore, and he will be joining us in a minute. Uh, Deepak, I request you to please check if Dr. Sutherman has joined us. And thank you so much, both the experts, Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta and Dr. Sudipta Roy, for conducting these two sessions on yoga and mental health and psychiatry. Thank you so much. Once again, we would like to inform all the audience that Panacea is a 6-month campaign, and every Sunday we are bringing experts to you from different corners of the country. Experts who are master of their subjects, and they are conducting this session online. And as I mentioned, Dr. Praveen P. Sutherman has joined us now. Good morning, doctor.
Good
Good
morning,
morning.
everyone. Good morning.
Thank you so much, doctor, for joining us. So I'll just take 1 minute to update you what happened today morning. So we had two sessions by yoga expert and expert on mental health, Sohini Roy Chaudhary Das Gupta and Dr. Sudipta Roy. They came live and they conducted the two sessions on yoga and mental health. Now, this is the third session by you, Dr. Praveen. We thank you so much, and we thank Narayana Health for supporting our initiative and agreeing, accepting our request to take out time from your busy schedule to conduct this session online. Uh, so, Dr. Praveen Sutherman, uh, for the next 45 minutes, this virtual stage will be yours. And in the end, we will ask some questions from the comments. People will be leaving some comments on our Facebook pages and other social media pages. So, if you have any question, we will come back to you again. And with this, Dr. P. Sutherman, Praveen Sutherman, I would like to leave this virtual stage to you, sir, for the next 45 minutes.
Thank you very much. Am I audible?
Audible, sir. You're audible, sir.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible.
Thank you. Uh, Once again, I thank this opportunity for me to be with you guys and share my thoughts on this very important subject. As we know, we are going through an unprecedented pandemic. I'll try to keep this session as general as possible. I'll try to make it non-medical. Okay. Uh, while my slides are loading up, as I said, I'll try to uh, stick to about 30 to 40 minutes of presentation and maybe about 5 to 10 minutes of questions at the end. Please feel free to ask me any questions. I'll try to answer them to the best of my ability. Okay.
Sure thing, doctor. If you need any help, please let us know in running the PPT. Meanwhile, I'll take a minute to introduce Dr. Praveen Sutherman. Uh, he is a consultant interventional cardiologist at Narayana Institute of Cardiac Sciences, Narayana Hrudalaya, Bangalore, India. And his area of interest are coronary intervention, angiography and angioplasty, complex PCI angioplasty, pacing and cardiography in addition to clinical cardiology. He is an international cardiologist trained in the United Kingdom with a passion for high quality patient care and holistic approach. So we are very glad to have such an expert with us in this session. Over to you, Dr. Praveen Sutherman.
Thank you. Is my screen visible or my slides visible?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We can see your screen. We can see the PPT. Heart care in COVID times.
Thank you very much. Okay, without much ado, I'm going to start, and I just want to put this slide just to make sure people understand I'm not an infectious disease specialist or a COVID specialist. I'm a cardiologist. I deal with the heart effects that we see from COVID and in general. Okay. I think people have seen this picture 1,000 times. We've been through this for the last 8 to 10 months, and wherever you go, advertisements on the social media, this is a very, very common picture. Even small kids understand the picture these days. Just to start off with some statistics, this is from the Johns Hopkins University in America. They have been tracking the COVID infection from day one. Up to date, we've had about 7 crore 16 lakh cases and unfortunately 16 lakh deaths as well. And a good number of patients have recovered as well. And this slide is quite important. I've just put this slide to show some perspective of where we are in India compared to the rest of the world. To begin with, I'll say we are the third highest number of cases in the world, just because of the size of our population. It is led by United States of America, followed by Brazil, and then India. But I've highlighted here in the red box here, where this is the deaths per million population. So as you can see, the number for India is 103. So that is quite a small number compared to America, where it is 912. So for Brazil is 846, for France 881, Italy more than 1,000, Spain more than 1,000. There is some criticism that our data is not as robust as the data from the Western world. However, taking that into account, we still are a significantly lower margin compared to the rest of the world. So we are truly lucky to be in this position. Just imagine if, with all those facilities in the Western world, they are struggling with such a huge number of cases and number of deaths. If we had the same situation in India, about 10 times the number of deaths, and the hospitals would, it's already overwhelmed now. They are not able to treat patients, especially at the peak of the situation. Imagine how worse it could have been. So we are truly better off compared to most of these nations. So this is the latest data from India, where there are about 98 lakhs 26,775 cases, and the actual data for yesterday was about 30,000 cases. And a good number of recoveries there. They have suggested the recovery rate in India is about 94%. So 92 to 94% is what they have quoted. That is a significant number. And although for individuals who've been affected, it doesn't give much comfort. On a population basis, this is excellent numbers. So, what are the first thoughts when they said we got a pandemic, we got COVID? The first thing the world experienced was a lockdown. It was never seen before. The last pandemic was in 1919, that was a Spanish pandemic. So, the whole world went into lockdown. Along with it, India also had some very strict conditions, and a lot of freedom was taken away from us. So, we were not able to socialize, we were not able to go out, we were not able to meet friends. Our daily life was totally turned upside down. So that had a significant impact on the minds of the people. So there was widespread fear. Why there was fear? Because it was a new entity. No one knew what to expect, especially in the first few months. Even the healthcare professionals were not sure what they are dealing with because it is something they had never encountered before. Over the period of time, as we've had more experience, things are definitely much better compared to, say, March, April, May time where that was we are still learning about this disease. So, as I said earlier, this is the worst pandemic we've had over the last 100 years. And the last pandemic was in 1919. That was a Spanish flu pandemic. It was a really bad time. The world had just recovered from the First World War. Millions of people were dead. And then came the Spanish pandemic, once again, which killed about 150 or 200 million people at the time. A quick review of the facts of COVID. As I said, there's so much information about COVID. Probably you guys know more than me. There is so much going on in the news. There's so much going on in the social media, WhatsApp. So there is a lot of information. But unfortunately, not everything is the true information. There's a lot of misinformation being communicated unknowingly or unwillingly. It was first detected in Wuhan, in China, in November 2019. The World Health Organization declared it as a pandemic. Pandemic means where it affects a large group of people, particularly affecting countries, and then it spreads very quickly. So, a significant portion of the population of the world is being affected. So, this was declared as a pandemic in March 2020. This was a coronavirus. We know about coronavirus for a long time. It causes cold, cough, and then mild symptoms. However, this was a new virus. People did not know about this virus. That's why they called it the novel coronavirus. Uh, what was significant was it was more contagious than the normal coronavirus, and it was deadly. So it started affecting people. There are lots of people who died, especially if you see the first few videos of China, where it was not understood initially. Lots of people just dropped dead on the streets as well. Uh, it is somehow more serious in the elderly and people with pre-existing conditions like diabetes, heart disease. So these people are at more risk. Okay. A few symptoms of COVID again. Fever is the most common symptom. Dry cough, fatigue, sore throat, mucus production, breathlessness. So there are lots of symptoms. I won't go into all the details. Don't want you to make a medical talk. However, there was something new about this infection. So there was a new loss of taste or smell, particularly smell. Initially, it did not occur to medical experts that this was a new symptom. However, over the first few months, they quickly realized that this was a particularly strong symptom and was very specific to COVID. There are lots of instances where patients had very small and a bit of runny nose, or just feeling a little bit of tiredness or fever for less than a day, and then they lost the smell for a few days, and everything. There was all the tests were negative. The COVID was not tested at all. Therefore, people did not assume that they should go and test it. However, research has shown that these could be very mild cases of COVID, which has been successfully taken care of the body by the immunity itself. So, what was suggested? Uh, all the governments had and the medical community had to act. They could just not sit by idly and then let the whole thing unravel for itself. That was definitely not acceptable. So they devised a small formula called the SMS, which has been very popular. People know about it. S stands for sanitizer. However, I would suggest soap and water. If you can wash your hands with soap and water, that is definitely more effective. Obviously, it's not possible all the times. You may be out shopping, then you can use a sanitizer. Wearing face masks. So this is to protect yourself and others. And once again, maintain social distance. They recommended a distance of about 6 feet. So this is all well known, and people are following to a significantly large extent. Nowadays, you don't see many people uh, going out without face masks. Okay. However, loss of freedom was not very popular. What is right is not always popular, and what is popular is not always right. This was said by none other than Albert Einstein. So there were a lot of grievance from the people that their freedom has been taken about, and there were also lots of questions by the younger people who were saying, "Fine, we are not affected. We're going to, even if we get the infection, we are going to get better from it. Why should we worry about it?" So there were two things that we had to do as medical fraternity to advise the governments. First thing is to protect yourself. So protect yourself from getting sick. So what they suggested was avoid unprotected contact with sick people. So if someone is not well, if they are sneezing, if they are coughing, do not go near them. Avoid spitting in public. And once again, most people have a habit of touching their nose, face, eyes. That becomes a habit subconsciously. Therefore, we had to advise people not to do this because that is how infections spread, especially with these respiratory droplet infections. And once again, try and limit contact with farm animals or even wild animals. Recently, they have found out that a zoo in Spain has had 4 cases of coronavirus in lions. What they suspect is that a zoo handler who was unknowingly infected with coronavirus may have given it to lions. There is also a horrible story in Netherlands where millions of minks, which they are reared for fur, were killed because they got coronavirus, and they were transmitting within themselves, and there was also a new mutation. Therefore, it is quite significant that we avoid farm animals or wild animals. In fact, we should remember that that is how coronavirus started. Coronavirus been there for many, many years, probably even a millennia. What they assume is that the reservoir was bats, so wild bats, and this started all from a wet market in Wuhan, where the coronavirus may have passed from the bats to the handler who was selling these wild bats. So that is how the theory goes as the first human occurrence of coronavirus. The second mantra is to protect others. So if you are sick, so avoid contact with other family members, friends, or stop going out. Do not socialize. Avoid spitting in public. If you do have a fever, cough, or breathing difficulty, all the symptoms I mentioned earlier, seek medical attention early. Do not delay. As things get delayed, your chances of getting better also gets diminished. The the other thing I want to emphasize is that there's a lot of research. For example, if you have a bigger room, for example, unfortunately you are affected with coronavirus, then if you are relatively stable, the government will ask you to quarantine at home. There is a lot of research to say that if you are isolated, if you are in a single room and away from the family, even if you are living in the same house, the risk of you transmitting the infection to your family members is really small. So, therefore, make sure that you stay away when you are sick. This may not be possible in all the cases because many people homes are not big enough. They may not have an individual room. However, if you do maintain distance, there are cases where we have seen one or two people being affected in the family. However, the rest of the family becomes negative. So do take these advice seriously. So moving on to the COVID and the heart effects, The according to the World Heart Foundation, this is a perfect storm for the heart, and we see this day in and day out, because heart disease itself is the major killer all over the world. However, according to recent data in US, this has been outstripped by COVID. So COVID has become the top killer for 19 for 2020. So, what are the risks? So, if we look at the traditional risk, older age group seems to be the one who have a much higher risk compared to the younger age group. This is common in many cases. If you have other coexisting problems, like if you already had a heart attack, or if you have heart failure, other heart problems, lung problems, kidney issues, or uncontrolled diabetes, that puts you at much higher risk of fighting the infection. If there is systemic inflammation, especially with arthritis, uncontrolled arthritis, where there is very systemic inflammation, that itself is once again a significant risk factor. If there is a coagulation abnormalities, what do I mean by that? If we have blood clots, so if you have a tendency to form clots, that puts you at much higher risk. And if you have multiple problems, you have more than one of these problems combined together, that gives you a much higher risk of getting COVID and also less risk of getting recovery. And once again, if you are mobile, for example, if someone is bedbound, they are not able to mobilize much. Their body function and immunity is low. That put them at risk as well. There is one slide regarding the impact of COVID on age. So this has been well proven on many studies. They took 18 to 29-year-olds as the comparison group, and then they compared it to the rest of the age groups. So as you can see here, the age group with the highest age group, 85 plus years, it's the 13 times higher risk of getting hospitalized and 630 times of dying from the infection. That's a staggering statistics. If you are 75 to 84, it's about 8 times higher. uh, Once again, death rate is about 220 times higher. So, what does this tell us? Age is something that we cannot change, I'm afraid. So, elderly people need to be more careful. Okay, though they need to take more care, even if they do have family members who are going out, who are socializing. Try and avoid very close contact with people who are moving in and out regularly. So let's look at some specific conditions where coronavirus may play an important role. For example, hypertension. If someone has got high blood pressure, that doesn't naturally put them at a risk of COVID infection or not recovering from it. What is significant is patients whose blood pressure are not controlled very well. So that makes a difference. If someone's blood pressure is very well controlled, they are at normal risk as everyone else, so they don't need to worry about it. Similarly, with diabetes, all diabetics are not equally at risk. Diabetes, we know very well that it reduces the ability of the body to fight infections. That's the reason any small infections, you might have heard the doctor saying, take it seriously, give antibiotics, make sure that the wound heals very well, otherwise it's going to get worse. That is very true because the fighting ability of the infections is generally low in diabetic patients. However, as I said, not all diabetics need to worry. If your diabetes is not controlled, that is when you need to worry because that impairs your immunity and that impairs your ability to fight infection. Obesity, once again, there are different classes of obesity. Just mildly obese, the risk is much lower. However, if you're morbidly obese, what we call a BMI of more than 40, that significantly puts your risk. Once again, the we know that obese people have a lower immunity and they are more susceptible to infections and to fight off infections. So that increases. So if you are obese, work on it. Make sure you lose weight. You have a healthy lifestyle. If someone has already had heart disease, once again, there are lots of my patients who had COVID and have recovered really well with heart problems. So it doesn't matter if you have had problem in the past, it's about ongoing problems. If you have an active heart problem that is still not very well under control, that increases your risk again. So similar to heart failure, where the heart doesn't pump very well, there is fluid overload, your breathing becomes impaired. That is when your risk also goes up. So this is once again a brief chart. We'll look into it into a bit more detail. So some of the conditions that we need to know about regarding specific to the heart, how the COVID might affect people. So there are few conditions called as myocarditis and pericarditis. What does this mean? This is inflammation of the heart muscle. That is myocarditis, where there is general inflammation. The immunity is a little bit low, and then there is pain across the chest. It can be very similar. It can be very difficult to differentiate this pain from heart attack. Therefore, you need to consult a cardiologist. Let them make the diagnosis, and then it can be easily treated. Usually, it is not as serious as the other heart conditions, and this is the most common manifestation of COVID we have seen. The first presentation in many COVID patients, I would say, is they come with chest pain, which doesn't fit with a heart attack. It's just non-specific and around the heart. And lots of studies as well as MRI scans have shown that there's a lot of inflammation, edema around the heart muscle. So this is an effect of COVID. This is a direct effect that we have seen, and usually these patients recover very well. The next condition that I want to talk about is heart attack. This is much more serious. I think we all know that heart attacks is one of the most serious conditions, and it's number one killer in the world. Unfortunately, India is becoming the heart attack capital of the world. It is already the diabetic capital of the world. It is already the hypertension capital of the world. We have the dubious uh, the distinction of being that on top of the world map with all these problems. So a lot needs to be addressed, and a lot of effort from not only from the medical fraternity but also from governmental agencies as well as non-governmental agencies need to go into so that there is more awareness about the problems as well as getting timely management. So, what we have seen, unfortunately, is patients who are known to have heart problems or they suspect heart problems, but still very reluctant to come to hospital because of getting COVID. So, this unfortunately has led to many deaths. What worldwide they have done studies, and what they found is, especially at the peak time of COVID, patients have died at home with heart attacks without getting medical attention because they were so afraid of getting COVID. What they don't realize is more than 90% of patients who get COVID recover significantly well without any long term effects. Therefore, be cautious but not be very afraid. The important thing is you get your treatment for other major problems like heart problems, heart attacks. So do not ignore that. So, as I mentioned earlier, the myocardial infarction, heart attack can be fatal if not properly diagnosed and treated. Once again, I want to emphasize again and again that this is a timely treatment. Time is muscle. That is a very famous quote that we say in cardiology. What do I mean by that? Muscle is the cardiac muscle. So, if someone is having a heart attack, if it is usually caused by a blood clot in the blood vessel that supply the heart. If we don't open that blood vessel, either by medications or angioplasty, then there will be no blood supply, and that part of the heart muscle will be dead forever. Once it is dead, it cannot be revived. So it is so important. That is what leads to heart failure. So I would urge again all viewers as well as other people to be aware of the problem and get medical attention. If this is not a heart attack, that's perfectly fine. You just get tested and then go home. If it is a heart attack, it can be managed properly, and your chances of recovery and a successful, good life after that is significant. There is another issue that we need to know about COVID, what we call as thromboembolism. Thromboembolism is nothing but blood clots which are formed in various parts of the body, and they go to places where they should not go. For example, if there is a clot in the leg, because we are not very mobile, which is the case these days, because we are sitting in front of the computer, people are working from home, they are not allowed to go out, so their activity level has significantly gone down, which means that people are just sitting on the couch for a long time. that causes clots in the legs, and then those clots can go up to the lungs and then cause a clot in the lung. Also, there is a hole in the heart, which many people have. They don't realize that it's a very common thing. The clot from that can go into the brain, causing a stroke. What is particularly true about COVID and the clots is that in the initial days there was not a significant knowledge about blood clots. There were lots of patients who were dying. What we knew was that the lungs were the cause of death in most of these patients. So there was lung failure. The lungs are like a sponge. They get the deoxygenated blood and then give oxygen. So the exchange happens there, and then there's purification, and that's how the process goes on. However, there were lots of cases where the lungs were treated very effectively with antibiotics and other supportive measures, even with ventilation, but the patients were not recovering. Fur- Further, they got to know that this was not due to only lung infection. So there were multiple clots which are forming in the lungs, which led to death. So that was the time when they started getting to know, okay, there's a second mechanism that's causing deaths. So we are targeting only the lungs. As I said, this was all completely new to medical science, and no one knew about this disease before. So once they learned that blood clots are significant and they were the cause of death, people started using blood thinners, and that changed the scenario significantly. So patients who were started on blood thinners much more earlier had a significant recovery, and then they did really well. The next condition that we need to know about is palpitations. So this is what we call as arrhythmias. Arrhythmias are nothing but not normal rhythms. So there is a pattern to the heartbeat. If it is out of sync, we call it as arrhythmia. So it commonly manifests as palpitations. So you might feel the heart going a little bit faster, sometimes a little bit irregular. If it's for more than a few minutes, definitely it is not normal. That needs to be investigated. They can present with syncope, where patients they just collapse without any warning, or they can feel like a simple faint, where they understand that they are falling, but they still faint because they cannot prevent it, or just dizziness, where this everything starts spinning around, and then you don't feel very well. All of these are significant symptoms, and then they need evaluation by cardiologist, if there is a cardiologist nearby. These things can be potentially serious if not detected or treated. So once again, the reason I'm putting all these medical conditions is not to confuse the general public or the listeners. It's so that everyone is aware of these common symptoms, so that they can seek medical attention and get treated properly. So the next topic that we need to be aware is heart failure and cardiomyopathy. So heart failure itself is not new, as I told you earlier. The heart failure, there are two reasons for heart failure. One, there's a heart attack. The heart muscle is dead. It doesn't work very well. That is why the heart doesn't pump very well. The second entity is something different, what we call a dilated cardiomyopathy, where the muscle itself is weak for no particular reason. Blood supply is good, it's not the blood supply, it's just the muscle that doesn't work. The treatment is much, uh, but what we need to know is breathlessness is a very common symptom, especially on exertion. If you're trying to do something, if you're not able to walk for a few steps, when you're getting breathless when you're lying down, the legs start to swell up. There is swelling in the abdomen or the tummy. You without eating, you feel very full. You just don't have any appetite. Although you're not eating, you're gaining weight. That's because of fluid accumulation. So these are the signs you need to be aware of and seek attention. Particularly about COVID is that either patients who can present with overt heart failure, like all the signs I've told you, or very subtle signs, patients may not have any of this, or very minimal. For example, they may have occasional signs of breathlessness. If they're okay going up to the first floor by climbing the stairs, but by the end of it, they're really breathing and panting. They take more than normal to settle down. There is also a new entity that we are seeing with these patients, especially COVID patients. Many asymptomatic patients, patients who never had significant symptoms or very minimal symptoms, they had a little bit of cold, cough, got better, and on routine examination, after doing an echocardiogram, a scanning of the heart, we find that the heart pumping function has reduced. This is very, very new to medical science, and we don't understand completely why this happens. You remember I told you earlier there's a lot of inflammation that is the most common cardiac problem that we see with COVID patients. But we are also seeing that is the acute phase, that is that immediate phase. After that, there is a reduced pumping effect on the heart. Whether this is temporary or permanent at this moment, it is not clear. That is one of the other reasons why all these patients should be seen by cardiologists so that they can be followed up and see what happens. I am sure over the next few months, we'll have more data, we'll have more information of how to treat these patients. There are many times that we need to start treatment much more earlier rather than wait, because there will be some patients who are at risk, who already have heart problems or who have other medical problems, that we need to be more proactive and start treatment early rather than wait until they become sick. So that is one of the reasons why you should go to the doctor and then get an ECG and an echocardiogram. For patients who have survived the COVID, who have got better, I sincerely suggest that a ECG and an echo is a must in the next 1 month after you have recovered, to see how your heart pumping is. A few tips for a healthy heart. I think you all know about these general tips, but I'm just going to put up a few slides so that you can skim through these. Exercise regularly. This is something that we have been telling for ages. However, there are lots of issues with exercise. I'm not suggesting anyone, everyone to take up weightlifting. That's just only a picture there. Any form of exercise. Walking is an excellent exercise. However, due to restrictions from COVID, people had their own lifestyle. So many of them would get up in the morning, go for a walk, come back, then go about their normal work. Some of them would go in the afternoon, some of them in the evening. All this has been disrupted. So you have to find a way out. So just saying, okay, fine, I cannot go out, I cannot do anything is not an excuse. There'll always be a terrace for everyone, so you can do walking on the terrace. There are people where even that is not accessible. So I would suggest even a small 10 by 10 room, pace in the room for 30 to 40 times. That itself will give you good exercise. Once again, you can do lots of stretching exercises. You're sitting, so you don't need any space for that. Do some exercise. If you are not exercising, if you are just sitting on the television or in front of the computer for long hours, as I told earlier, you are at risk of forming clots. So lack of exercise, that itself is one problem. Sitting idle and then doing nothing will increase your risk of clots. Also, it has been proven beyond doubt that if you are exercising, if you are active, there are lots of good hormones released, and your chances of getting depression are much lower. Patients who do not exercise have a much higher risk of depression compared to patients who exercise. Eating healthy is once again a emotive topic. The general advice is that have plenty of vegetables and fruits. So I don't need to go into much detail. All of all of this is available. The information is available freely. Lots of people who are dietitians, and then they give you advice. So in general, what I would suggest is have plenty of fruits and vegetables. Eat protein foods and less of sugar. Previously, it was thought fat was the culprit. Fat is still the culprit, but once again, it is not as bad as sugar. So, sugar is the worst culprit. Sugar, I mean glucose, anything that is direct sugar is bad. Sugar in all the bakery products and all the foods, processed foods, need to be to increase the shelf life. Either they had to add sugar or salt. So that increases your risk anyway, and especially if you're heart patients, you should not be eating much sugar or uh, salt as well. And once again, whenever there is a possibility, choose whole grain foods. Obviously, there are lots of diet revolution happening these days, which you're all well aware of, so I won't go into much detail about that. The other very, very important thing which is often overlooked is reducing stress. There are some studies which say stress is as bad as smoking. So if you think, okay, I'm not smoking, my risk is very low, but you're having an extremely high stress, that is as good as smoking. When I talk to patients, they tell me that, okay, I'm going through a lot, there are lots of difficulties with one thing or the other. The common advice I give them is fine, you cannot change the situation. Worrying itself will not change your situation. So if you have to deal with it, deal with the situation, do whatever is necessary. I'm not saying do not do this or that. It is entirely up to you how you deal with it. But if you take that on extra stress, that itself will not cure your problems. Once again, stress releases lots of bad hormones where that causes coronary spasm of the blood vessels that supply the heart, and lots of heart attacks happen with that. There are also these hormones cause angina, chest pain, as a very common symptom. So whenever the patients get stressed, they get chest pain. So that is a very typical symptom. We see this very commonly in women in the middle age group, about 50 to 60 years, 40 to 60 years of age, where they are under significant stress for whatever reason. And when we do the angiograms are completely normal. So there is no mechanical flow issue. So there is no blockage as such, but their symptoms are real. So every time they have a stress, the artery is going to spasm, creating a temporary block. So when the stress goes away, the artery relaxes on its own. We do give tablets to help with this, but once again, the only solution would be to avoid stress. Uh, Also, the more stressed you are, the more depressed you become, and your ability to fight infection. What they've also found is that if your stress levels are high, your immunity levels go down. So, once your immunity is down, your ability to fight infections also goes down. They have done some studies over the last 8 months about COVID. They found that up to 40 to 50% of the population in general, the stress levels have significantly gone up, and about 10% of the population is depressed. So those numbers are really worrying. And when I speak to my colleagues who are in psychiatry, they are seeing a significant number of patients who would normally be very happy and going about their normal work. Uh, it has become very widespread these days. And this is a no-brainer. Stop smoking, alcohol, and no recreational drugs. Uh, Many people ask me about alcohol. Is alcohol safe? Is alcohol good? There are some studies. Well, there are many studies which have been done regarding alcohol. What the only evidence for alcohol having any beneficial effect is red wine, that too about in very small quantities. They say about 10 to 20 ml of red wine, which is almost like a tonic. So if you are able to stick to that, yes, there is small benefit. Otherwise, no other alcohol has shown any benefit. In fact, there are lots of uh, deleterious effects of alcohol on the body. So stop drinking if you are a drinker. Uh, I think we are nearly going through the last few slides. Do not stop your heart medications without consulting your cardiologist. Have at least 30 days supply of tablets. This is not much significant these days, but in the peak of the pandemic where the restriction was significant, you are not able to go out, just to make sure that you don't run out of tablets, keep at least 30 days of supply. Once again, do not delay seeking medical help because of the fear of COVID. As I said, most patients who develop COVID recover very well, more than 90%. In fact, your heart condition might be more serious than contracting COVID. Also, major hospitals these days, all hospitals probably I would say, are well equipped to deal with COVID because of the knowledge that we have compared to the initial days. Okay. Also, make sure you have severe you have contact number for your cardiologist and you're aware of what to do in an emergency, where to go. So have these things handy. Also, discuss this among your family members. For example, if one person becomes sick, the other people should know what to do. Most doctors these days are doing video consultation, and please make use of this facility when physical visits are not possible. There are lots of my patients who I know very well, and I've been seeing them over the pandemic as well through video consultation without any requirement for physical visits. Obviously, there will be some patients who are sick and they need to come to hospital and then see them. Uh, Once again, there is no distance limitation at all because I'm seeing patients from Bangladesh, I'm seeing patients in the Northeast, Assam, West Bengal, Madhya Pradesh, Bihar, all over the place. So they are able to make use of this. And as I said, most of my colleagues, most of the doctors are doing video consultation. So please make use of this technology. It is very, very simple these days. And the other thing that you should have is a list of COVID care providers, either government hospitals or private hospitals that is near to you that you have trust in. So if there is any possibility that you may have COVID, go and get it tested there. So the other question that frequently comes up is, what about visiting family and friends? So the official advice is consider the level of risk. In general, the more people you interact with, so if you're dealing with lots of people, that increases your risk. The more closely you interact with them, and the longer that interaction, the higher your risk of getting and spreading an infection. So, as I said, always two mantras. One is that protect yourself, protect others. Just a few words about long COVID. So, for patients who have already recovered from COVID, there is a new entity called long COVID. There's no official medical definition of long COVID, but the most common fatigue they have described is significant fatigue. That is the most common feature. You might just feel that you're not totally recovered, but if you do all the blood tests, the tests are all negative. So this syndrome is not necessarily new to science because we have seen it in other viral infections, especially chikungunya, where patients will have significant arthritis even after many days, in fact, up to a couple of years. And it is estimated that about 10 to 20% of patients may experience long COVID symptoms to varying degrees. I will not go through the full list of symptoms, but as I said, chest pain is also one of these symptoms. And once again, as mentioned earlier, patients who have recovered from COVID, please see a cardiologist to get an ECG and an echocardiogram done to see everything is okay. Okay, fine. I've given so much information. I'm afraid there's nothing very positive about it. I've told you what are the potential problems that might happen. So the question is it all doom and gloom? Hopefully not. The future looks brighter. As I said, since the pandemic, the medical fraternity is much more knowledgeable compared to the first few days. There are much more treatments available these days. As I said, there are antiviral injections that is very commonly given. I'm sure you have all heard of remdesivir. Steroids are being used routinely. That itself has made a significant difference. Patients are recovering very well. The recovery rate in India is more than 90%. That is an excellent sign. In general, patients who have mild COVID or patients who just want to have better immunity, it is worth taking some vitamin tablets. So vitamin D, it's been recommended. Vitamin C is recommended. Also zinc. So these are three things that is routinely recommended to boost your immunity. So a 1 month course of these tablets will do you good. So this is a new kid on the block. I'm sure you've all seen the news. There's been a lot going on about vaccines. There are about 10 to 15 vaccines being developed. In fact, many countries have already started vaccination. I just read on the news this morning that America will be doing mass vaccination next week. So this is already on the cards. This was the first lady in the United Kingdom. She was a 91-year-old grandmother who became the first person to receive the uh, Pfizer vaccine. So you will see more vaccines being developed, and hopefully, uh, I believe, India might get the vaccine in the next 4 weeks. Although not everyone will get it. So the question is, when will I get it as a general public? The first priority goes to healthcare workers because they are the ones who are on the front line. Unfortunately, more than 660 doctors have died in the line of duty. I'm not even mentioning about the number of nurses because that's a much higher figure. Also, other personnel who have contracted, police. So lots of people have died. So they will get the vaccine first. As I said, frontline workers like police, defense personnel, disaster management workers, municipal councils, municipal workers who take away all the waste, those will be the next people to get it. After that, people who are more than 50 years of age, they will get it. Next would be people less than 50 years of age, but with other heart conditions, lung conditions. So after that, if you are in one of those low risk categories, you might get it later on. So questions about okay, once you got the vaccine, what next? Will I get back to being normal? That is pre March 2020, how things were after vaccination immediately. The answer is no. It will definitely take its time. Remember, we are a nation of 1.2 billion. To vaccinate everyone, we might take at least 6 months to 2 years. So until that time, you are not totally safe. However, the restrictions might come down once a significant portion of the population has been given the vaccine, uh, but it will take some time. So, can I stop wearing the mask, using sanitizer, social distancing? The answer is no. You still have to take your precautions because that is the only thing that is shown to be shown to have a significantly positive effect in stopping the virus spreading. As I mentioned earlier, mass level immunization can take up to 2 years to give a herd immunity. And once again, we should remember that not all may want to get immunized. This anti vaccine movement is particularly strong in America and some European countries where there is a lot of skepticism about the vaccines, and not only COVID vaccine, but vaccines in general. And those patients will never get immunized. Those general public will never get immunized. We should also not forget that reinfection with a mutated virus remains a possibility. For example, the vaccine is for this current mutation. If the virus starts mutating and becomes a changes in nature, then the infection with that remains a significant possibility. So finally, I would say do not ignore SMS. So hand washing with soap and water, or use of sanitizer, wearing a mask, and social distancing. Protect yourself and others. Be cautious but not overtly fearful or distressed. Most patients recover very well from COVID 19. As I said, our recovery rates are very good. However, prevention is better because some people do become seriously ill or even die. Do not ignore symptoms of ill health. Seek prompt advice from the medical team. Once again, as I told you, the other medical conditions are probably much more serious and needs to be treated. So don't stay at home thinking that you might contract COVID. There's definitely hope in the near future. And very importantly, believe information only from genuine sources and not WhatsApp messages, even if it's originating from a known person or source, however well intended. So with that, I'll uh, stop my talk, and thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Dr. Praveen Sadarmin. It was a wonderful presentation, and we must appreciate you have covered a lot of subjects and a lot of queries already in your presentation by people. It's already 10:30, but still we would like to take one question that uh, people who are hospitalized due to COVID-19 are suffering with heart diseases, right? Cardiovascular issues. But is it a possibility that people who have not developed symptoms and are simply isolated at home may also develop cardiovascular issues due to COVID-19?
Correct. I think I already put that up in my slide. That's why I said
Yeah.
patients who have recovered from COVID, I urge all of them to go and have a basic ECG and an echocardiogram. So that will tell us how their heart condition. There are lots of patients who are coming to who had absolutely no cardiac symptoms. So they had a bit of cold, cough, and all those things. They got recovered well. However, the heart function has gone down. At this stage, we do not know whether this is permanent or temporary. I hope it is temporary, and I start them on tablets to support the heartbeat more. What I'm hoping is over the next few months, heart recovers with all this, either by on its own or with help of the medicines they're given, and then they all get back to normal. at this moment we are not 100% sure. That is the reason I request everyone, especially who have recovered from COVID, to get an ECG and an echocardiogram.
Right. Thank you so much. One more question I'd like to ask you, that, as a cardiologist, what are the trends among the patients whom you have treated? Probably, have they come back later with problems related to heart to you?
The one thing that we are seeing very commonly is, as I told you, is the inflammation of the heart. They come with chest pain, very typical. The chest pain is not necessarily of heart attacks. So that is the inflammation heart muscle. That is in the acute phase where there is infection. We treat that with simple painkillers, and some of them may do require steroids, but they do recover very well. What I'm
Right.
also seeing is patients who are coming back with heart failure later on. So that's a very small proportion at this moment, but it's too early because it takes some time for some of these patients to develop heart problems, and maybe even 3 to 6 months later I might see them. At this moment, that's the reason I'm asking everyone to be open to go and see their cardiologist if there is any problem. So do not delay, because time is very important. So if you delay and there is already heart damage, very little can be done. If the heart, as I told you on the echo scan, if the heart is not functioning optimally, then we can start tablets to help the heart and then make a recovery faster.
Yes. Uh, Someone has sent this message to us on WhatsApp that, due to nature of my field job, I have to wear my mask entire day. Will it affect my heart?
Depending on what, because there are different types of masks. The what medical lesson, what I wear in hospital is what we call an N95 mask, which is much a
Yes.
very tight fitting mask onto the face and the chin. If they have done studies, and that has not shown any significant problems leading to, because one problem they were expecting is that we are taking too much of, because we're breathing in and all the carbon dioxide is going back. That is not the case. So there's more. If you are using the normal mask, for example, a surgical mask or even a cloth mask, that risk is negligible. Absolutely, you don't need to worry. I'm talking about in hospital where we very, very tight masks to protect ourselves from COVID when we are dealing with COVID patients. Even that mask, there has been no effect. So the answer is no.
Right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Praveen Sadarmin. We thank you so much on behalf of Elets Technomedia and Beatrice entire Narayana Health team for supporting this initiative. I would request we had about 1500 to 1700 people watching us live. I'll request them, if you have any question, please send us an email and we will surely get the answer from Dr. Sadarmin for your questions. You may, as you can also watch the video, if those who have missed the live video can, of course, visit our website again and watch the entire presentation, entire talk on our website. The video will be uploaded within 12 hours on our website. You can again visit our website and watch the complete video. So with this, we would formally like to close this session, Dr. Praveen, and we would like to thank you so much for your support and your guidance to make this initiative a successful
Thank,
one.
thank you very much. It was a pleasure to me, sir.
Thank you, sir.